Hello, friends. I just wanted to pop on and do a quick recording about a little insight I had today and wanted to share it with you around our inner child. So, I've just come back from a walk and I always feel so grateful to have the opportunity to walk in my lovely village. And one of the things I love about where I live is there's loads of beautiful birds and today, when I was walking along this little lane, which I've walked along many, many times, loads of trees all the way down both sides, and no one else around. The sun was shining, and it was a beautiful autumn morning. And as I was walking, I could hear quite a few birds twittering away and chatting to each other. And I just stopped and just wanted to listen to them. And as I just stopped in that moment, I saw different birds sort of flying out of this particular tree and going across and back, and it was just mesmerizing. I just felt in awe, really, of these beautiful little critters that were doing their thing. And I've always had a deep love and respect for nature, for animals and birds. And it just brought a memory back to me from when I was a young child, maybe 5, 6 or 7, something like that. And as I was standing looking at the birds today, the memory that it brought back was I'd gone to out of class to go and use the toilet. And so I went across the playground, and there was no one else in the playground because everyone else was in the classroom. So as I returned back to go to the classroom, there was this little bird just standing on the playground. And I just stopped instinctively not to frighten it, not to disturb it, but give it its time to just do what it wanted to do. And I remember very clearly, I put both my hands behind my back to be perfectly still and just watch this beautiful little bird. And I must have been spotted by a teacher. And then I was sort of said, come along now, get off back into your classroom. You shouldn't be, wasting time, or whatever was said, words to that effect. And so obviously the bird flew off and I went back into the classroom. But that memory has stuck with me. And I've thought of it many times when I've seen birds. And today, I don't know, there was something quite healing, actually, that came to the fore about that little girl in me who was so gentle and respectful of this bird that it's seen. And I realised, how for all of us, I'm no exception here, we all have these seemingly insignificant things that happen to us as a child that can actually have a deep effect and are very significant. But of course, when we're a young child, we don't have the capacity or the ability to process them, to express the emotions necessarily. I know I certainly didn't, and never was taught how to express how I feel. So I always put a lid on things, shut down, or was shut down many times, and became a very shy, quiet child. And that's just how it was until I started to do a lot of inner work when I was doing deep healing on myself. And part of that process was addressing that part of me, the little child within. And I've gone there many times. I've done a lot of work on that part of me and feel very grateful for doing that. And I really can see the connection to when we play out certain behaviours as an adult to that wounded child that just plays out as an adult. And thankfully, that inner child feels safe, loved, and heard now. But there's still moments when there are triggers that still elicit those kind of emotions and feelings from being a little child. And so, yeah, and I had an example when I was away recently in Germany, a very, very deep wound that came up for healing. Again, a memory in my mind. And I had an amazing opportunity to really work with that and felt so free afterwards. But I had to be really gentle and loving and kind. And thankfully, the person I was with was very able to hold that space and just be a witness and allow me to process it in my own time. Because there's a great vulnerability and tenderness when we're looking at this kind of stuff. And we really do have to feel safe. We have to feel cherished and heard and seen and not rushed. Because we just go back into the old default of the wounded child and shut down. So with this memory today, I actually welled up and I had some tears as I thought of that little girl who was sort of ushered on, in that moment. And, on the bigger scheme of things, it wasn't a big deal. But I think when you have these messages again and again, it builds a construct, it builds a belief. And I was certainly, as I say, shut down many times as a child. And so therefore, that part of us doesn't feel, valid to speak up, to express, or safe to do so. So little by little, as we start to address that part and give that part of us a voice and truly, truly honour that part of us and witness that part with great, great honouring and cherishing that part and truly, truly listening and seeing without any judgment, without any criticism, without any belittling or ridiculing, because that's quite often what happened to us as a child. And of course, what happens is we then go on to play that out in our adult life, as I said. So for me, it played out as very much keeping small, not speaking up, certainly not feeling able to speak in public on any shape or form. Just wanted to hide all the time. I didn't feel I had anything of value to talk about, and always felt so vulnerable and so insecure and quite often very embarrassed, and that's another sign quite often that there's something deeper there hiding. And so that's how it played out for me. And then on the other side, for other people, it can go the other way, where they're trying to get the attention by being really loud, maybe aggressively, having a tantrum, screaming, shouting, getting violent. And then what's then perceived subconsciously in that child is, if we're not the good girl or the good boy, then what are we? I mean, what's the opposite of good? It doesn't take much to work that one out. Think, well, I must be bad or not good enough. And so therefore the role, the construct is embedded, and then we keep playing it out. But either way, it's a cry for love, whether we're the submissive, quiet one or the loud, in-your-face one. It's a cry for love. And it took me a long time to see that. I always saw people who were, as I deemed, very loud and very vocal. I just thought, well, they must be confident. But I started to see that actually that wasn't the case, and people would actually say that to me and say, actually, inside, no, I don't feel that. So it's really interesting how that plays out. And so really, I think what the message for me is today to share is that just to be able to be present with yourself and not abandon yourself when you may have these little memories or these sort of responses in situations where we don't feel validated or heard or dismissed, or we really need to get our voice louder and I need to express what's going on. And it can show itself in many different guises. And to be really kind to that part of you, that little child within you. And I really felt that today as I stood there and I looked at those birds and I had that memory. I just felt so much love for that part of me, and I just I kind of wrapped my arms around myself, and just cherished her, and I could see her, and I just had so much love for her, what her experiences were, and it was painful, it was hard living that way. And yes, I've come a long, long way, and I'm so grateful for that. But it's so good to just be reminded sometimes that there's a part of us that's vulnerable and hurting and lonely and just like clueless of what's happening. And I know there were many times when I just couldn't figure out adults and things that were going on, and just wouldn't ever say anything because that's just not what I did. But eventually, as I say, with willingness, we can start to really nurture that part of us and give them a voice, soothe them, reassure them. And this can be done obviously one-to-one, which is a great way, and I know I did that. I had to do that, and now I support people that way as well. But also to expose the emotions and the feelings, and that may be by writing it down or journaling. That's a very powerful way. And I know, again, I work with quite a few clients where that is part of their process. So when the stuff comes up, they don't shut it down or put a lid on it or project it onto somebody or something else. They're mindful enough and aware enough to say, okay, I'm triggered here, there's something going on. And just get it out, write it out, speak it out. Not dump it, as I say, on someone else, unless there's someone you really trust that can hold that space for you. Then yes, by all means do that. But it's not to be fixed, it's not to be analysed even. It's just to be held, truly held in love, and saying thank you, when that part of you is willing to express those deep emotions, those shattered parts of you. Those parts of you that are shaking inside and are just trembling. Let them be here. Let them be witnessed with such love. And as the stuff starts to come out, we can then embed those more loving, almost like we're reparenting that part of us, soothing that part, reaffirming to that child that you are lovable, you are innocent, you're beautiful, you've never done anything wrong. And that's so important, because we go around believing that we have done something wrong. And it's such a deep, deep story, this, that's out there, that, we could ever do anything wrong. It's only because we're not given the resources to be able to express what's going on. And the more we have that space to do that, we find that the facade that we wear, the fortress, or the armor to protect ourselves, even with a sword and a shield and everything else, and put the thing down, the visor down. It's like, don't come close, don't come near me. We can gently start to drop it, let it go, because we realize there's nothing to defend. And then love can return to our heart, to that cherished part of us, that beautiful, innocent child. Every child is innocent. No child is bad. No child is evil. It's just the circumstances that shape them. And that's without exception. And they all need to be held in that love and understood and given an opportunity to, express what they're feeling, and, encouraged to then fly free, like the little birds I saw today. Don't we want that? And don't we want that for everybody? To fly free on their own journey, spread their wings. And it's such a journey, a deep journey. And yeah, just to check in if there are those moments when you see that sometimes the response to a situation or a conversation or something that's happened is slightly out of alignment, really. It's not it can be a bit extreme, or again, where we just feel all of this anger or rage come up, and maybe we don't express it, we put the lid back on it, or we just rage at somebody, and it's, you know, blaming and judging them all the time. And it's not a great way to live, is it? It doesn't feel peaceful at the end of the day, and it doesn't feel loving or kind. So as that part starts to, as I say, come out for healing, and we just choose again, we choose to look at this stuff with compassion, that gently, 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 we can heal it. And that inner child can then integrate within us. So we turn up as a balanced, healthy, capable, communicative, loving, transparent person. And if stuff happens, then we can check in, we can notice. And that takes practice. It's not a quick fix. But it's just so freeing, and it's just a gift to yourself. And then when you turn up in the world, you know, you can be present for other people. You can be kind and compassionate and less judgmental, and actually see them and see actually underneath there's maybe a child there that's feeling very upset, that wasn't listened to, that wasn't given any positive feedback or ability to express itself in a healthy way. And it just, I don't know, there's a big shift then that happens, and our relationships change, and we're in the world in a very, very calmer place. And also what I found is, at that particular time when I was doing a lot of deep inner healing of the child part of me, then the natural creativity comes out, the natural inspiration. And it was amazing. I started to receive poetry and channeled writing, and I then explored art and creativity and dance and self-expression through the voice. And yeah, at times it was out of my comfort zone for sure. Oh my word. But I really wanted to just be free and have fun and express myself. And I was just amazed at all this creativity that was coming out of me. And of course, what was happening is, because I was clearing the blocks, the heaviness, the stagnant energy, and it was being released, more light could come in, and more connection to my source could come in, our natural creation through the Creator. And it's like that ability just wants to express. It can't help but express. And so it's a win-win. You feel better. Your natural verve for life comes to the fore. And then you can be a witness for other people and not go off the handle or shut down. You can be present, really truly present for someone. And at the times, of course, it's still going to come up, you know, but it's okay. We can be there for ourselves, yeah? We can be there and do what we need to do to support ourselves at that time, whatever that may be. You know, maybe reach out to someone that we trust, as I say, or just go and have a long walk, or a soak in the bath, or a massage, you know, something that's loving and kind, that's not addictive, you know. If we go into any addictive behaviour, then we have to kind of just gently look at that as well. So yeah, it's a big sort of topic, but I really felt to share it today, and I'm just so grateful, as I say, that at this point in my life I can hold that part of me. I can really be the witness and love her and be really kind to her. And oh gosh, yeah, it's a good feeling. And yeah, when I was out, as I say, on my walk, my heart was just like, wow, integrating her within me, that little girl, just holding her so close and saying, wow, it was hard then. There were many hard things that she had to go through. But I'm here for her now. So if any of this resonates with you and your heart's ready to heal, just trust and pray for guidance, pray for the right thing to come to support you, and it will come. It will come. And if you want any more information about what I do and how I support people, then please do get in touch as well. The information will be in the little box below. So wishing you a beautiful day. Listen to the birds, look at the blue sky, walk in the countryside, kick up leaves, give your little girl or little boy permission to do that and have fun with it. Lots of love.